I'm back with my next episode of Sunday Stories, and today the story's title is Braggart. Who is a braggart? A braggart is a person who has a habit of showing off. A person who flaunts his knowledge, himself, right? A person who shows off. And we all know it is a fool's glory to show off. The person who are actually something, they do not need to tell people. Their words and actions are enough for people to understand who those great people are. But there are people who like showing off. And this is a small episode. I had read this story years back. But yesterday I, came upon a person who, all the time I was with him, I think half an hour I had to sit with him. I'd gone to someone's place and I met that person there. The person I met, he was a total braggart. Alright? Half an hour I was with him and he was like, I am this, I am that, I can do this, oh that is not the way and this is not the way. So, the person I met was enough for me to get reminded of this story, and I really felt telling the story to you. Alright? So this is about a story, this is about a person who was very knowledgeable. The story that I am reminded of, this story is about a person who was actually very, very knowledgeable, a very, very hard worker, very studious, and because his lifestyle was so that he all the time he was in books, studying this, studying that, this is something good. This is really good. He was very knowledgeable. And then he cleared the exam, and now he was supposed to go for a training in the, the place where the soldiers are trained for the army. So, and clearing the exam itself, in different countries, the exam's name is different. So I'm not mentioning any exam name. But the paper that has to be given is very, very difficult. Alright? And very less intelligent people, knowledgeable people are, because there is no one, syllabus for it. It's a vast syllabus that comes in that one exam. So you have to study a lot, prepare a lot. You have to be very thorough with all the general questions, the day-to-day questions, logical reasoning. Things are there which is very difficult. So a person who is practicing all this, preparing for all this, is very knowledgeable, keeps reading the newspaper every day, current affairs you need to know. So this paper is for those people who are regular in all this. So this, the person cleared the paper and he was sent to the training center. But and appearance was like he had those round rimmed glasses. Alright, and because all the time he was studying, reading, so this part had was a little stooping, and but he was very knowledgeable. Alright, and he was full of knowledge, and you could see that person guiding everybody, telling everybody about this, about that, very knowledgeable. So but if you are so knowledgeable, that doesn't mean you are a good person. Fine, you worked hard, you became knowledgeable, and we acknowledge the learning and knowledge of such people. But the nature that you have, your behavior, also matters in life. You have to be good too. You cannot put the other person down by showing off or flaunting yourself, talking good of yourself and feeling as if you are the only one who knows everything. So this boy had, this type of nature. You could see him talking to people. People, at the first sight, when people saw him, met him, talked to him, people were like full of praises for such a person who was able to speak, who was able to remove the doubt of any person within seconds, because he had vast knowledge. He was a, store of knowledge. But his behavior was not good, and let me tell you what happened. First day of training, they were to be taught how to use a particular type of pistol, gun. There are so many, we don't even know the actual names of it. So the teacher came, the training teacher, and the person who trains in the army, he was also an army officer, and he told everybody to make a circle, and he himself stood in between. He wanted to demonstrate some, pistol, some, the speed of the bullet when it moves out of the pistol. He wanted to demonstrate to people so that everybody would learn, and how to work on it, what all different parts and fragments are there in that pistol. Everything had to be taught. Now this Braggart, our show-off, was also amongst them. So the teacher, held the pistol and started describing the pistol. If he had just started, but our Mr. Flaunty, Mr. Show-off, he interrupted the teacher in between and said, no, this is not the way to explain. He had the guts to interrupt an army man. Army man, a person who is full of discipline. They are very strict and disciplined people. Disciplined in life. They follow rules. Now when the teacher was interrupted, he turned round to see who it was. And our Mr. Braggart, our Mr. Show-off, he started off that the way you have started, sir, the way you have started to explain is an incorrect way. You should have started by explaining the fragments. So the teacher was shocked. But the teacher's class was his first class, so he did not say much. The teacher let our Mr. Show-off say whatever he wanted to say. And then he said, all right, sit down. And then he explained everything to the class in his own way. And after that, he, started a questionnaire round. This army teacher, he started a questionnaire round. And he started asking questions to each person who was there in training. Very few were able to answer. All the answers were being given by our Mr. Show-off, because he was actually a store of knowledge. But his behavior was incorrect. So this teacher asked him, have you been trained before? Were you here? Come again for training? How do you know so much? So he said, sir, this is my first training and I have come well prepared. I have read all the books which are to be, done in the training period. I'm thorough with each and everything. So the teacher had a smile on his face and he just moved on. The day was over. Now, actually, what he used to do? He used to go to the teachers. He used to bring books of different guns, different pistols, different things, equipments that are used there by the soldiers. Everything had to be taught. So before it was even required, he used to go. He used to pester the teachers to give them the, the manuals of the equipments. And he used to sit day and night. He used to study on his own. In fact, you won't believe, all the soldiers who were there with him in the training, they too were like surprised to see that this person was so hardworking. So, and they could see that he was one of the toppers. He was the most knowledgeable person, and they, in fact, even if they had doubts, they used to go to him, and within seconds he was able to clear the doubts. So everybody, had, him as like we usually feel for toppers of the class, right? So everybody, looked high upon him, that he is a very knowledgeable person and all. But this type of nature doesn't go on and on. Everybody doesn't like hearing so much of clap, 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 clap. So what started happening was, even when in the class they were writing something and a teacher asked something, and if somebody else was able to answer correctly, in fact, what he used to do? He did not want the other person to have the glory of the class. He would, raise the hand and would say that I also want to say, and then would say in an extra exaggerated manner. Total show off. So what used to happen was, the teachers used to get impressed by the way he had spoken, although the other one was also correct. So the other student used to feel very bad that he's put me down by, adding his own knowledge to what the answer, even I was telling the correct thing. So everybody started getting a little irritated. And now what happened was, all the time he was like this, and he would interrupt people and say, no, it is not like this. Wait, let me show you. And he used to take the equipment and show them everybody. So everybody was like, he doesn't let us do it. He doesn't let anyone speak. He's the one who interrupts in between. And then he's all the time, showing off that he knows more than all the others. So this nature, started irritating everybody. But everybody felt that yes, if ever there was a choice amongst person who would be selected first for anything, it would be him, because he is too good. He is full of knowledge and he has more knowledge. He works a lot. Even, when they were out doing a march past or something, he used to do it in a different way, even when, the students used to say that even when we were going to the canteen, and if he saw that the senior officials were standing, he would march past, he would salute, even if it was not required, to make himself the center of attraction. He wanted everybody to know him, to look at him. He wanted to show off, to flaunt that I am something, This behavior became very irritating. The students also used to feel that, they got irritated, but they knew he had a lot of knowledge. Even when, they used to say that even when a plane was going, and you were not able to see, the plane was flying above you and you were not able to see because of the scorching sunlight, with the sound of that aircraft, he could tell which aircraft was flying. So like everybody was totally shocked at the type of knowledge he had. He actually had a lot of knowledge, but that is not enough to be chosen, to be given a commission, or to be chosen as an army officer. Now what happened was, again there was, everybody was called in the field and they were told to make a circle, and the teacher was there and the teacher had to again guide on some equipment. This was the second time he, interrupted some other teacher who was a great, a major or something, a senior official in the army. And he was totally flabbergasted. How could anybody interrupt a teacher? They were shocked, they were astonished at this indisciplined behavior. The store of knowledge is definitely, it was commendable. People used to praise him. People, in fact, everybody was, shocked at the way he knew so much. But behavior, discipline is what is more required in army. So this army official was very, very upset. He asked for his name, and then everybody was called, in the evening everybody was called. There was a meeting, and so the officer came and officer said, see, as you all know, we have to select one of you for the army officer's position, and there are two others we have to choose for something else. All positions had to be given to these trainees. And so he said that, and moreover, before anything else, we need to appoint someone for the kitchen duty also. A person who would only do cooking job for all the soldiers and for all the officials. So everybody was, standing, and everybody knew that it would be this Mr. Show-off who would be chosen as the army official, and everybody was, very nervous which job they would get. No one wanted to get the kitchen job, and everybody was like, they were just having goosebumps when the names were announced. The first name that was announced was our Mr. Show-off's name. And everybody started clapping because everybody turned around to see when they said that we have to choose an army official. Everybody turned around because everybody knew he had a great store of knowledge. But the army officer went on to say that this Mr. Show-off had been selected for the kitchen duty. He would be the cook for all of them. And you won't believe, that was the time everybody had to keep discipline. No one could, laugh in splits. No one could even show their teeth. But you won't imagine when the officials went away from there, the way all the soldiers, they were in splits. They laughed and laughed and laughed because Mr. Show-off had been chosen for the kitchen duty. Why? Only because his misbehavior. He was a store of knowledge. He knew how to operate all the equipments. He knew more than the others knew. But his behavior was enough to bring his doom. And you won't believe, one of the soldiers, after these duties were given and everybody went off to their own duties, whichever they were assigned to, you won't believe, one of the soldiers said that I was crossing the kitchen area, and to his surprise, again Mr. Show-off was seen again teaching people, clap, 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 teaching people how to peel potatoes. He was a big show-off. He did not stop even in the kitchen duty. He did not realize his mistake, that he could be one of the best army officials with the store of knowledge that he had. He was so much in habit of showing off that even in the kitchen duty, he was telling everybody how to peel potatoes. Isn't this really funny? You won't believe, these two soldiers who were crossing the kitchen area and saw what this boy is doing, and they were shocked, and again they were in laughter that okay, even after getting the kitchen duty, he's a big show-off there too. And everybody started, laughing when everybody came to know in their hostel rooms that this person was a total flaunty, total show-off. He was a Braggart. Do let me know how many show-off people you know. There are many people who have a lot of knowledge, who are very intelligent, but they are good at heart too. Here we have a big show-off story that was. Do let me know if you know about someone who is a big show-off. We'll meet next Sunday. Enjoy your week. Bye-bye.